Hey, hi. Actually, I was searching about how to pick banking stocks and I got to know some information, so let me share it with you. So, the first thing I got to know was that if you are bullish on your country's economy, then just invest in the banking stocks. Okay, but what is the reason behind that? So, basically, banks helps to improve the velocity of the money. But now again, what is velocity of money? Okay, so let's understand with an example. So let's say there is a man and he puts his salary into the bank. Then that bank uses that money to give loans to different businesses. So now as businesses will have a lot of money, so ultimately they will have a lot of potential to grow. And as businesses grow, our economy has to grow. So yeah, this whole thing is called as the velocity of money. Okay, so now let's say three different types of banks. Actually, there are a lot of banks, but I only know about these three. So yeah, let's see. The first type of bank is PSU banks, also called as public sector undertaking bank. So firstly, this type of banks are trustworthy because they are backed by the government. But there is a problem. As we all know that their management is not so good and also a lot of scam happens in this bank. So I usually play a cyclical game in these stocks because see, as these banks are backed by the government, so usually they will not die. But as we see in the news that lot of scam happens over here, so I buy these stocks when they are available at a cheap price, and after making some profit, I take an exit because I don't know when the next big news is going to come. And here are some example of PSU banks and their performance. Then the second type of banks are private banks. Usually these banks provide good service than the PSU banks, and yes, these banks has to grow because these banks don't get a lot of money from government, so they come up with different schemes and services for the customers, like selling credit cards or giving good returns on the FDs and many more other things. So I personally invest in these banks for long term, and here are few example of private banks and their performance. And now the third type of banks are small finance banks. So this type of banks usually give small loans, like for opening a small shop or for buying a motorcycle. And also people usually don't go to PSU banks for the small loans because we know their management, and also they take a lot of time to approve the loan. Or if you go to private banks, they also charge a high interest rate on the small loans. So usually small finance banks are good because they give small loans and at a good interest rate. And here are few examples of small finance banks. And personally, I don't invest in these banks because honestly telling, I don't understand these banks. So yeah guys, that's all for today. See you next week. Bye.